Jeremiah chapter 24. Where are we going to be? What we're going to talk about. So let me give you a little background here on what's going on. It had King Josiah. King Josiah was defeated by the Egyptians at the Battle of Megiddo, and he was killed. He's succeeded by his son, Jehoahaz. Now, Jehoahaz was only in power for 3 months. He was deposed by the Egyptian king, Necho. So he was, Necho come and got him and sent him to Egypt in exile. And Necho promoted Jehoahaz's half-brother, Eliakim, to be king of Judah. And he changed his name to Jehoiakim. And that ends in a K, K-I-M, Jehoiakim. And so Necho, the pharaoh of Egypt, he's imposed a heavy tribute to be paid by Judah. And what happens, Jehoiakim, he raises taxes to pay this tribute. So Jehoiakim is not very well liked. So in a few years later, at the Battle of Carchemish in 605 BC, here you got Nebuchadnezzar coming in, and he defeats the Egyptians. So he takes over that territory. So Jehoiakim now has got to pay Nebuchadnezzar tribute. So what happens, about 3 years later, Jehoiakim rebels against Nebuchadnezzar. Well, Nebuchadnezzar, he doesn't send in his regular troops. He sends in people from Moab and Ammon and somebody else, and I can't remember who it is. But he sends in these, what's the word? Mercenaries. That's exactly what I was looking for. He sends in the mercenaries. Well, after about 3 or 4 years, they hadn't done anything. So Nebuchadnezzar, he starts towards Judah. He's going to take care of things. But what happens? Jehoiakim dies before Nebuchadnezzar gets there. And he's succeeded by his son, Jehoiachin. That ends in C-H-I-N. So you got a new king coming into power. So now we get to our verses here. Now all of this is, a lot of this is over in 2 Kings chapter 24. You get a lot of that. And so Jehoiachin, what happens with him? He only reigns for 3 months. And Nebuchadnezzar shows up, Jehoiachin, and he's also known, if I can pronounce this name right, Jeconiah. I don't know if I'm, all these names. Some of these kings got 3 or 4 different names. Yeah. So anyway, he's been king for 3 months. Nebuchadnezzar shows up, and he takes over. He deposes and exiles Jehoiachin, and this is when the first deportation takes place. were all the princes and all the, it says, the princes, the mighty men of valor, the craftsmen, the smiths, those that in metal work and everything, they're carried off to Babylon. And what he does, he takes, in 2 Kings 24 here, verse 17, it says, and the king of Babylon made Mattaniah his father's brother king in his stead, and he changed his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah is 21 years old when he begins to reign, and he reigns 11 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. So, then what happens? Zedekiah rebels. It says Zedekiah rebels against Babylon. So what happens to him? Well, he's rebelling, and let me find the notes here. What ends up happening to him? Anyway, Nebuchadnezzar comes up against him, and he ends up, the city's taken. Zedekiah escapes, and Nebuchadnezzar's men hunt him down. They take him back to where Nebuchadnezzar is. Nebuchadnezzar kills all his sons in front of him, then puts his eyes out, and then takes him to Babylon. So he's lost all his sons, he's lost his sight, he's lost his kingdom. So now let's get to Jeremiah 24 here, and what Jeremiah has to say about it. The Lord showed me, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of the Lord, after that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away captive, and I'm going to throw in the name I can pronounce, Jeconiah. Thank you. Okay. Which is the same as Jehoiachin. Okay. The son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and the princes of Judah with the carpenters and the smiths from Jerusalem, and had brought them to Babylon. 1 basket had very good figs, even like the figs that are first ripe. And the other basket had very naughty figs, which could not be eaten, they were so bad. Then said the Lord unto me, what seest thou, Jeremiah? And I said, figs, the good figs, very good, and the evil, very evil, that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. Again the word of the Lord came to me, saying, well, first off, some of these commentators, some of them were saying this was a vision or a dream, but most commentators were saying this was actual. There was actual baskets of figs in front of Jeremiah, and the Lord was speaking to him. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away captive unto Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for their good. For I will set my eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again to this land, and I will build them and not pull them down, and I will plant them and not pluck them up. And I will give them a heart to know me, that I am the Lord, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. For they shall return unto me with their whole heart. So, here you've got the figs, and they are representing, there's good figs, there's bad figs. So, what the Lord is trying to show him here is that the good figs represent those that are being carried away to Babylon. Now you would think being carried away to Babylon is a bad thing. You know, you're being pulled out of your homeland. You know, you're being deported, I don't know how many miles, it was probably several thousand miles, to a place you've never been before. You don't know the language. You don't know the customs. You're in a bad way. But here, the Lord is saying, this is a good thing. You know, it's just, how is that a good thing? But what the Lord has said here, he says, whom I have sent out of this place for their own good. Have you ever been in a situation that you thought was, you know, how did I get myself into this situation? You know, just like you were saying with your the gallbladder. You know, that's not a very good thing. That's you got to get cut on. You know, but what happened? It was for your good. Okay, you know, you get sometimes, you know, what we think is bad, God puts us in a situation. He's actually doing it for our good. Yeah. I don't know how many times I've got myself into situations, you know, but it come out good in the end. I was better off going through what the Lord put me through than I would have been otherwise. So that's what he's telling them here.
Something that just came to my mind is like a butterfly has to work to get out of the cocoon. If you cut the cocoon open for the butterfly, then it's not going to be able to fly. It has to work and work through it to get out to be able to fly.
So verses 4 through 7 here, we see the fate of the figs. First, the good figs, we have divine acknowledgement. It says, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away captive. The Lord's got his eye on them. He's acknowledging that they're his. They're his people. Then he also, divine action. What does he say? If I can get my glasses right here. It says, God will take care of them. He'll protect them. And he will eventually say, let's see. So I've set my eyes upon them for good. He's going to watch out for them. He's going to care for them. And in the end, I'm going to let them come back to their land. I'm going to restore them to what they had before. It says, I will build them and not pull them down. I will plant them and not pluck them up. So it's an action. It's not just, God's just up there. He's looking down on us, but he doesn't intervene. That's, what do they call that? Deism? Yeah. That's just where he set things in motion and now he's just going to let it play out. But that's not what our God does. He's a God of action. He says, God will build them up, he will plant them, and he will give them a heart to know him. So he transforms them. When they get back, this period of time, you've had all these bad kings. They've all been king. There's only like, if you see the list, there's only like 3 or 4 of the kings that were any good. Most of them were evil. Most of them were idol worshipers. When they get back from their 70-year exile, there's no more of that. It says, I will give them a heart. Let's see, how does it say it exactly? And I will give them a heart to know me. That's something else. You know, to have that in your heart, that you know God and that He knows you. And then we have divine acknowledgement, divine action, divine transformation, and the divine promise. It says they will become His people and He will be their God. So here it's a good thing to go through this trial. You know, if you look at the history of it, he sent all these princes. He sent the best of the people to Babylon. He sent the princes. He sent the craftsmen. He sent those that probably had some ability to learn. And who do we see there? We see Daniel. We see the three Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. We see Esther, Mordecai, Nehemiah, Ezra. We see all these people, and it wasn't a hardship on them. I mean, it was a hardship in a sense that, they're away from home and everything, but they're treated actually pretty good.
They were brought to be made part of the society.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm remembering correctly, wasn't it Jeremiah who told them to go and to, that they were going to be there 70 years? You might as well, make the best of it. So that's the good pigs. So what happened with the bad pigs? Verse 8. And the evil pigs, which cannot be eaten, they are so evil, surely saith the Lord, so will I give Zedekiah, the king of Judah, and his princes, and the residue of Jerusalem that remain in this land, and them that dwell in the land of Egypt. What does Egypt represent? Egypt represents the world. I've always heard it preached, when somebody goes down to Egypt, they're usually, that's a symbol of the world. So what happened to these that were left behind? They aligned themselves with Egypt. That didn't work out too good. It says, and I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt. So here, they were probably thinking, hey, we're left behind. We're still here at home. We got things going on. We're going to have to send him some tribute or whatever, but he's left us at home. That didn't work out too good. It says, and I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse in all places whither I shall drive them. And I will send the sword and the famine and the pestilence among them, till they be consumed from off the land that I gave unto them and to their fathers. So, with the good pigs, like I said, we had divine acknowledgement, divine action, divine transformation, and divine promise. With the bad pigs, we got divine judgment. They were judged. It says they will face utter destruction by sword and famine and plague. And they're going to be a disgrace. It says they will become the object of horror and reproach to other nations. The other nations are going to look down upon them. They're going to, it says a proverb, meaning, they're going to have names for them. And that they're not going to be looked upon favorably. So, again, how does this apply to us today? And as we've said, like Tabitha's gone through the surgery. Not a good thing. Some kind of sickness, some kind of financial situation that you go through. Sometimes we think, Lord, how am I going to get through this? But the Lord means it for our good. Says,
Can I share something else with you?
yeah,
I get a message from my Aunt Diane. She said that when her and my Uncle Charles had to have their gallbladder taken out, they ate a lot of fruit.
mm-hmm,
So she wanted to know if I was running home because she was gonna go to the store and she bought me a bunch of fruit. So she learned something through her struggle
mm-hmm,
and was able to help me with something that she learned.
yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, it wasn't good when she had to go through it, but she learned something
Mm-hmm.
and she passed it on to somebody.
Yeah. So, what might seem like a punishment to us can be for our own good. And when you come through that situation, what usually happens?
You're better for it.
You're better for it. You're closer to the Lord. You have a deeper appreciation, a deeper relationship with God when you come through that situation. And God, He wants us, when we come through that, He wants us to, a lot of times we go through these situations when we've sort of drifted away from the Lord a little bit. And God desires us to a wholehearted obedience to Him. You remember what happened with Saul when he didn't do what he was commanded to do.
She's like, I gave you offerings.
Yeah, well, God don't want our offerings.
Right, and you want to be.
He wants our obedience. He doesn't want us to do for Him just through a sense of duty. He wants us to do it because the desire in our heart to be even closer to Him. And it says, even after severe judgment, God remains faithful to His covenant and offers mercy and restoration to those who return to Him. And, we've been studying in Sunday school all the covenants that the Lord gave us. But in the New Testament, you have that promise of the new covenant, which is a promise of a new heart. It says, the promise of a new heart foreshadows the new covenant, where the relationship with God is marked by delight and longing rather than mere obligation. So that's sort of what's happening here. He sent them through this trial. But He promised them. He says, and I will give them a heart to know me, that I am the Lord. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God. For they shall return unto me with their whole heart. When we have problems and, we're questioning, Lord, why are you putting me through this? Why? He's wanting us to get closer to Him. To, most people when they go through a trial, how many times do they leave the church? Why would God do that to me? Yeah. So they leave church. That's when you need to get back into church. That's what we need to do when we go through these kind of things. He's trying to draw us closer to Him, as it says here. I will give them a heart to know me, and they shall return to me with their whole heart. I hope, that none of you have to go through that kind of thing. But if you do, draw closer to God. Don't get upset and leave the church and blame God. He's trying to show you something. Trying to give you that heart that draws closer to Him. You got anything to add to all that? Okay. So, you're going to get out of here early tonight. And that clock is 5 minutes past. So we really get out of here. I hope you got something out of that I just thought it was interesting. I've just finished reading Jeremiah. But when I come across that, we're talking about 2 baskets of figs. It just, the symbolism, just spoke to me. And when Marty asked me to speak tonight, I said, well, I know what I'm going to do. Okay. And I hope you find something to preach on Sunday.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Let's pray.